Do you consider yourself wealthy? Let's find out as I give my review of the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. So I bought this book because, like everybody else, I too want to become rich. I figured the rich know something, and I don't. So I want to find out what they know and put it into practice. So as I begin my financial education, I'm going to take y'all on my journey with me. Now, like I said, I'm going to be reviewing the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I do not own any of this, and this is simply my thoughts and review on the book. My initial thought of the book, prior to reading it, was that this was about a guy with either two gay dads or a divorced mom and dad situation. Mom remarried, and one dad grew up to become rich, and the other dad grew up to become poor. And this is his experience as he learned financial advice from both parents. After actually reading the book, I discovered just how wrong I am. This book reads kind of like a seminar or a conversation. The author, Robert, starts by telling a story from his childhood where him and his friend Mike decided they would become rich. While Robert's dad didn't seem to have any insight on how to do that, Mike's dad seemed to have the key. Mike's dad seemed to have taught the boys plenty of lessons. One of the ones that I like the most is that he dissolves the illusion that money is real. He uses the example of a donkey pulling a cart chasing after a carrot on a stick while someone rides the cart that the donkey is pulling. While the donkey is only aware of the carrot, he pulls tirelessly and endlessly until he arrives at the carrot. The carrot in this instance is the money. See, it's an illusion. At the end of the day, the donkey will get the carrot, by all means. But tomorrow he'll wake up to find there's another carrot. We do the same thing. I'm a blue collar, hard-working individual. I work sometimes between 60 and 84 hours a week for years straight, away from my family. I mean, look at the background. This is my camper I'm filming this inside of, okay? I've got boxes piled up everywhere. I'm running what Robert refers to as the rat race. And many of us are. I wake up every day and I chase after the carrot, which at the end of the week I get, and it's my paycheck. But I'll wake up again to find that I'm still needing another carrot. So I will chase it again for a week and get another paycheck. This is what is known as the rat race. This is the constant struggle. See, in this depiction, in this example, I am the donkey chasing after the carrot. But now I'm starting to see the full picture. Unlike every other donkey that sees the full picture, I no longer want to be the donkey, but I want to be the guy riding the cart. See, that guy, he's an example of a big businessman or an investor. That individual is creating the illusion for the donkey to chase after, and he's riding along. He's getting to his destination. Not as much effort is being put in. So how do we change that? Can we change that? Well, turns out it's simple. See, most of the first chapter of this book is really a tool for self-reflection. Many examples come in and out throughout the book. There's the example of this donkey. There's also the example of Robert himself when he goes in to ask for a raise after only being paid 10 cents an hour. Now, when Robert asks for the raise, he confronts his boss sternly and firmly, says, "This is all the work that I do. I deserve this amount of money." And Rich Dad tells him, "Well, you sound like a lot of the people who work for me." Then Robert changes his attitude and he says, "You don't pay me enough, and I think I should sue you for that." Rich Dad then proceeds to inform Robert that now he's starting to sound like a child again. That he no longer sounds like the adult who just demanded the pay he deserves for the work that he puts in. Now he's throwing a temper tantrum and sounding like an adult who's about to find himself without a job. See, Rich Dad explains in the first chapter that we react based on two emotions, fear and desire, or greed. See, it is the fear of losing my job that makes me come in on Saturday and Sunday. And it is the greed or desire I have when I'm holding my check that makes me spend it on things that don't make me money. You see, fear and desire are exactly the two emotions that control everybody. It was the emotions that kept me getting up every day and working 84 hours a week that made me take jobs that sometimes didn't pay as much or sometimes cost me other opportunities. But see, it's desire. Desire is the one that gets me to spend all of my earnings. Before the week's through, I'm already waiting and itching for another check. I get paid on Friday. By Tuesday, I'm broke. So you see, like most people, there's the fear of not having enough money and my desires that will always make that fear a reality. One of the biggest difference that Robert points out between the rich and the poor is how we spend our money. See, the poor or in the middle class, what do we do when we get paid? Why, we get paid and we go buy toys and fun things, or maybe we've got a stack of bills at home and we pay that as much as we can, leaving nothing else but food money, groceries, and maybe a tank of gas by the end of the day. Whereas the rich, well, they do something completely different. See, the rich pay themselves first and everybody else last. Whereas the poor and the middle class, myself included, we pay everybody else first and then eat off of the crumbs. See, that's the biggest difference. And I can see you asking yourself, well, how do I pay myself before I pay everybody else? If I got a $1,000 check every week and I owe $800 worth of bills, $200 is all I have left. That's all I can pay myself. But that's not true. See, he goes on to explain that rich people buy assets. And by buying assets, that's how they pay themselves. You see, an asset, and this is where we get it mixed up, ladies and gentlemen, an asset is something that makes money. A lot of people will call their house their biggest asset. Their car is an asset. But none of those things make you money. In fact, quite the opposite. They're liabilities. They cost you money. See, unless you own a rental house, that will make you some money. But chances are you're not watching this video because you do. So what have I learned? Well, I've learned I need to buy assets if I want to become rich. And I need to pay myself first by buying assets. Okay, well that sounds like a good way to make money. But now how do you keep money? We find out more in the book. See, by chapter 4, Robert starts to talk about taxes and the many loopholes that the rich and the wealthy use. They're not illegal. Of course you should pay your taxes. But there are ways to take your money, make an investment, profit, and not have to pay the taxes on that profit. Now, I'm still learning, so I'm not going to give any advice here. But I do suggest that you find these loopholes yourself. That, from what it seems, This is going to be one of the biggest ways to make sure that you keep your profits. He also starts to talk about minding your own business, which in this case, he's referring to your portfolio, your assets. See, a rich person knows to mind their assets and minimize their liabilities. Now, if something's making you money, it goes into assets, but if it's costing you money, it goes into liabilities. He then goes on to describe 4 areas of expertise that everybody should know if they want to maintain their wealth. First one he talks about is financial literacy. Just like knowing a language to read a book, numbers are another language. We need to know how to read those in order to understand what we're getting out of it. If we can't read the numbers correctly, we're bound to get screwed. Number 2 is investing. The science of having your money make money for you. See, investors know when they put money in, they should get something out. Otherwise, it's a poor investment. So it's important that we learn how to invest and invest properly. Number 3, understand the market. Supply and demand. It's that simple. We need to know if what we're buying people want. If I bought a whole bunch, a warehouse full of Windows 98 computers, I would have a hard time selling it. But if I bought a warehouse full of PlayStation 5s, for instance, I'm sure I could find a sucker or two. And number 4, and this one is important, ladies and gentlemen, is the law. It's kind of self-explanatory. You don't want to go to jail for making lots of money. You want to be rich. So there's so much more to this book than I disclosed, and of course that was by design. I really hope you go out and buy it, read it for yourself. I encourage you to do so. But in the meantime, here are my final thoughts. This book has been a wealth of information all by itself. I truly believe if you want to learn how to get out of the rat race, that this book is one of the key things you should read in order to do so. This book has made me take a good hard look in the mirror and seen how I've been using my finances over the last several years. And I can tell that I've been very reactionary to my fears of not having enough money and my desires of what things I can buy with money. This book has taught me that in order to free yourself from the rat race, you must have a clear desire and intent to do so. If you enjoyed this review and want to see more like it, please hit me up with a like and subscribe. If you have other books that you think I should read, go ahead and drop a comment below. If you thought I missed something or there was something more you wanted me to cover, I'd gladly cover this book twice. And as always, thank you for watching.